Crash to Cast podcast, episode 49.
Oh
I
my
am
god.
Dave, the NC picker, here with, up on my top left, Carrie, American Arbitrage. And over here on the right, we got Kevin, the Commonwealth picker, who usually doesn't like to be here. But today I promised him that I'd buy him a Dr. Pepper if he showed up. So welcome to the podcast. How you guys doing?
Welcome, listeners. I hope you're not here for the Trash to Cash podcast, but you're here for the Triple Thrift podcast. Welcome in,
Wait,
everybody.
this isn't the Trash to Cash. That I thought for sure that was Dave. I mean, that sounded just like
it kind of sounded like him.
Should we start it off again? It's the Let's Do Lunch podcast. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited y'all are here.
Love you guys. Haley was on an episode. Big fan. We're back.
What's really going on?
Oh man,
we're back. That's what's going on. How long has it been since our last episode? 4 months? 5 months?
Probably a year.
3 months at least, because we recorded a podcast probably a month before FlipCon, and then that podcast never got released. So
yeah, and that was like 2 months after the last one.
Yeah, so it's been at least 3 months. But I mean, hey, we do what we can. We're back, and this is us. So we hope you guys enjoy this podcast where we talk about reselling, life, YouTube, and a little bit of everything. And we do our best to not let me talk as much anymore, because I guess that's why people stopped listening to the podcast, because I talk too much. So Joey, what's going on in your life?
Yeah. I was like, all right, before we started, I was like, all right, we got to interrupt Drew. If Drew talks for more than 60 seconds, we just got to cut him off.
Cut me off.
Put
me on mute.
Nothing much, guys. Just working, listing, going to Halloween Horror Nights, getting sick.
Going to what?
Sound a little sick. But what'd you say?
What'd you say you're going to?
I went to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando.
Halloween Horror Nights. Okay.
Yeah.
You said that really fast, and I had no idea. What did you go to? Should you be there?
No, I don't like scary things, but Destiny and I went there for her birthday, and it was a super fun time. And we actually went thrifting on the way up there, and I found this Selena shirt that I listed last night on the live, or not last night, 2 nights ago. I listed this Selena shirt right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, check this thing out. Selena t-shirt right here. It is on the blue Fruit of the Loom tag. It's cut, but it is the best one. It's the grail. I had people messaging me like, yo, how much? I'm like, look, I gotta put this thing up for like $1,000 and just see where it goes. And haven't gotten any offers yet. A bunch of views, a couple watchers.
You got it at the bins?
No, I got it at Goodwill off the racks. Like, that's what's crazy. But it's single stitched all the way around. The graphic is in perfect condition. And just super excited about that. Can't wait to see how far that goes. And I can't wait for an offer. I'm waiting for an offer. I have it listed high, obviously, but we'll see how that goes.
I think you can tell like how good of a vintage t-shirt is, because I've seen that exact graphic like reprinted, like on like modern reprints, because people want that shirt so bad. But finding one that's actually vintage, that's super crazy. So good find.
Yeah, the sleeves are rolled up. They're rolled up, but they have like stitching on them, which can be taken off. I mean, it's like probably 3 go arounds in there, but yeah, it could be taken off. And it's a nice shirt, man. It's pretty cool to find like on the racks. Like, you don't usually find crazy stuff in Goodwill anymore. Like, they've been taking all the good stuff, I think, personally. But
down in Florida. Goodwill suck, man. They're the worst.
Terrible.
As someone who's been thrifting in Florida and the middle of Manhattan and literally Beverly Hills, California, literally the 2 most expensive places to live in the entire world, entire country, Florida is the worst in terms of like cost of living.
but let's be real for a second. In one of your most recent videos, you guys were thrifting, and you and Haley were like, oh my gosh, this Nike polo, it's only $14.99.
There was no Nike polo. It was a Nike jacket, new with tags, retail for $70. $14.99 is not bad.
Okay, it was a jacket. All right.
I wouldn't buy a polo for $14 unless it was really good. But dude, Florida, like Florida,
that jacket would have been $70 in a Florida Goodwill.
Yeah,
100%.
We did go to like a Salvation Army boutique. By the way, if you guys haven't seen our thrifting in Los Angeles video, you should watch it. It's a really good video. I put a ton of time into it. It's still got a 70% retention rate. People just aren't clicking on it. So we're messing with the title and thumbnail a little bit, but the people that are watching it are really enjoying it. So go watch that video. But in that video, we went to a Salvation Army boutique, and that was pretty pricey. Like everything in there was like just crazy expensive. We did get a Patagonia jacket for $25. We sold out for 66. So it was pretty good. But everything else was like, it was like just on the cusp. Like it wasn't crazy expensive, but it was like what it was worth. Like they had this Kappa jacket that was, I don't think it was vintage, but it was like a full zip jacket with like the Kappa logos like down the sleeves, like super sick, but it was like $35. I'm like, there's just, it's a cool item, but there's no profit left.
Yeah, Kappa's a tough brand. I have a couple of Kappa pieces that I found either at the bins or at thrift stores, or even I got one from a buyout. It's highly faked. Those hype brands between like Kappa and Palace and Supreme and some of those like high end skate hype brands and stuff, they're fake so much. It's so hard to know unless you're just an expert in those kinds of shoes and brands. So not
selfless
shoes,
plug. In today's video, the video this should be posting today that we're filming this. So by the time you hear this podcast, it should be live. Haley found a Bape shirt in the bins with the StockX tag on it. I talked about it on Instagram the other night. And we actually went through a pretty interesting process to try to get that authenticated. So if you want to see that process, it's pretty helpful, I think, if you find stuff like what to look for. So you should watch that video. I'm not going to tell you if it was real or not, but just watch the video.
It's fake. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. You got to watch the video.
It's good. We just got back from that YouTube conference and I'm just super motivated and like putting a ton of time and effort into videos. Because for the longest time we were doing 3 videos a week and like oftentimes we wouldn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, we got to post a video today. Let's just go thrifting and see what happens. And like sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I think focusing on like actually making good videos instead of just making ourselves hit that 3 video a week mandatory posting or whatever will be better for the channel overall. So I don't know how many videos we're going to make, but if it's 3 a week, great. If it's not, if we don't have if I'm not like perfectly happy with the quality, we'll just skip. So I don't know. That's what Drew, you said you had like 9 videos from your buyout you did at Jam's place in Texas. I was like, maybe I don't like, you found a ton of stuff, so maybe it warrants 9 videos. But like for our Los Angeles video, we had just over 2 hours worth of footage, and I edited all of that down into 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So like there's so much that you film that just if it isn't absolutely necessary, if it doesn't add to the story, if it doesn't like keep the audience's attention moving forward, just cut it out.
I'll probably I have to send it to Jam first. For those of you guys who don't know, I've been sharing it a lot, like on Instagram and stuff, but I won a contest on Whatnot from another seller named Jam Vintage 956. And basically he owns rag houses in Texas. And I won a contest where I got 100 pounds of free vintage clothing from his rag house from playing like this Plinko game that they do where you buy Plinko chips and they drop it and you win a mystery bag. And it's like a vintage t-shirt. Well, the one that I had the golden ticket in it that said, "See you at the rag house, 100 pounds of free clothing." And we can talk about that on another podcast if you want. It's a really cool story. So I was there last week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But the reason I was there so long was because of the hurricane in Florida. I got my flight got canceled. So I was only supposed to be there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But anyway, long story short, I got a bunch of vintage clothing and I recorded what it's like in the rag house and picking vintage clothing and how it works and how you get in and how they sort their stuff and how all the process works. Because if the rag house is like one of those things that's like really secretive when it comes to resellers, like people know about them, but nobody knows how to get in or nobody knows how to, how they work. And so Jam actually gave me permission to film. And so I've got a ton of footage. And so I am going through it. The current video that I'm editing right now is at like 31 minutes. But it's like a lot of me like showing the processes and stuff. So I feel like it warrants to be a little bit longer than your typical video. Because it's like he's showing me around the rag house and showing me what's for what client, how this works, how they make a bale of clothing and like this kind of stuff, and how their customer base works and things. And so I think this one could warrant a little bit longer for people who actually want to know how it works. For somebody who just wants to see me pick, the vintage clothing out, they can skip to like the 12-minute mark or something and they can see me pick. Because I put a little bit of that in there. But I'll have a second video out as well of me going through an entire bale of clothing. Just if you like just like picking videos to see like what people pick up and what they don't or what's at the rag house, that video will be out too. That's going to be a second video. I'm going to try to keep it to 2 videos.
Yeah, when you said 9, I got nervous.
It was overwhelming because there's so much content.
Yeah, and it's tough to find the balance because like if you have like one video that's like half educational and half entertainment, and people are only interested in either part, then your retention on that video will be really bad because people are either going to skip the first part and only watch the last part, or only watch the first part and skip the last part. So like maybe even separating those videos out, like one video just what is a rag house and how does it work, and then just talk about like how the rag house works, and then in the video is like, I'm actually going to spend the next 3 days picking through this warehouse and finding all sorts of cool vintage items. If you want to see that video, click it right over here. And then in the video with that way, that video, only people that are interested in rag house will watch it and you'll get better retention. And then the people that are interested to see what you actually find can get passed onto that video. In that scenario, we'll have to make both videos like at the same time and then like release them at the same time. And it worked vice versa. Like I found all this stuff in a rag house. If you want to see how a rag house actually works, watch this video right over here, and then send people back and forth.
That's interesting. I was just thinking like sitting here listening to you guys. I feel like Drew should make a video and then like I should edit his video and then Josh should edit the video. I know Josh is busy and I'm busy and Drew's busy, but like it'd be cool to see like how different we edit the video.
Like Drew would love that because he hates editing.
It's true. It's not my strong suit by any means, and
I love it, dude.
And it definitely is for certain reasons. The first reason is because I have a laptop and I don't have a big computer setup and editing software, and I've never personally taken the time to learn a better editing software, and that's just my fault, I guess you could say. Because I've always focused more on the reselling side of my business than the YouTube side, because reselling makes more money for me. So obviously if I learned how to edit, made my videos better, was more consistent, maybe that could switch over time. But I found that I just enjoy the reselling side more than I enjoy the editing side of YouTube. I enjoy the content creation, like filming and stuff like that. And I've actually had a couple of times where I had editors that they were like super cheap though. Like for those of you who are really old school with reselling, Martin from Martin and Christina's channel, Thrift Store Gold. This is from like 3 years ago. Martin was editing my videos on the side at one point, and I was paying him like X amount of dollars per video, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm not making any money on YouTube, so I can't pay you anymore. I was losing money. And so, I was investing in it for a while, but then it just wasn't performing. Like at that time, my videos were getting probably less than 1,000 views. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. And now he doesn't do video editing anymore, like as a thing, because he has a construction job. So yeah, I mean, it's just something I need to work on, but I've got plenty of content. If you guys want me to send you what I've got and you want to edit it or something, like there's even one point in the video where I'm like,
so if anyone wants to do free video editing work for Profit Monsters, definitely reach out to them. They'll be happy to let you do that.
I will shout you out.
Looking for an intern, folks.
Yes, I will shout you out in every video. But there's one point in the video where I'm like, I don't know if I should keep this or not because it's really bad. I was like, you guys go follow Jam Vintage 956. I'll put it right here or up here or down here, or maybe all of them, but probably not because I'm a pretty bad editor. So like that's like in the video.
Yeah.
But should I keep that as like a comic, what's it called, comic relief or something, or should I just take it out because it's like actually bad that I don't even know how to pop up multiple things at the same time with the little like the noises when something pops up. Like
do you guys watch Eric?
Eric, yes.
Eric. Yes. At the video conference, I didn't really get to talk to Eric because he was like bombarded, but I met with Mac, his editor.
Yeah,
Mac's cool. For like 5 minutes. Mac. And like Mac was just showing me some of his like editing timelines. So if you guys don't edit videos, you don't know. But on your timeline, you have like it's different like sections. If you're listening to this, it's hard to explain. But there's different sections like going vertically. And so like usually your top line is like your A-roll, like your main camera footage. And then under that would be B-roll, which is like, hey guys, today here, like the main camera will be like, hey, today I'm here at the Goodwill bins. We're going to get in here and find something to flip for profit. And as you're saying that, you can cut to like a clip of just showing the bins to like show people what it is. And so normally in our videos, we have A-roll, B-roll, maybe some music, some sound effects, and maybe like some soul comps on the screen. So there's like 4 lines of like content on our timeline. Max timeline, he showed me, it was literally like 40 lines of just, it just was all this big jumble of stuff. I'm like, what is that? And it was a video they were working on, like one of their acts, like put 100 strangers in a box at night or whatever, you know? And he's like, yeah, everybody had lav mics. So lav mics that record separately for an SD card. So you have 100 people with a mic, and then you film the whole video. And then there's like, here's 100 SD cards, figure it out. So it's like all the audio for like everybody talking and like matching up the audio to the clip. Like the amount of work that like big YouTubers put into editing is just absolutely astronomical. Like it's wild, but that's what makes it so much better. And lav mics do sound sound good. Haley and I have some, but I don't like using them because it's so annoying to edit, because you have to like sync everything to make it match up, and then like export the whole clip, like all of your footage basically, and then like cut it so it's easier to edit. And it sounds really good. It cuts out the taco truck generator at the flea market. It cuts out all the background noise at the bins, but it adds like an extra 3 to 5 hours of editing. But we're going to start doing that again because we're trying to increase the quality of our videos and not just focus on quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, you made a video recently, right?
I did, yeah. It was just like a little what sold video. I actually am going to be me and Destiny, like, well, Destiny's sick. Like, I'm sick, but like, I'm not really sick. But what we wanted to do.
Joey doesn't like to admit that he's not in good health because he's such a positive person, but he's actually sick. He needs to rest, but he won't admit it.
But Joey, the bone is sticking out of your leg. You need to go to the hospital. I'm good, man. I'm good.
It was like, I don't
want to get blood on my new shoes, but other than that, I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to
go. Me and Destiny wanted to make we're gonna do it. It's because it's the new quarter. Like, it just started in October for like the fourth quarter, and what we wanted to do was like battle each other and see like who can make the most money in the next 90 days, and make like a series out of it. I don't know if we were gonna do like an everyday thing, because we both got sick like October 1st. So like, well, I wasn't sick, but she was, and I couldn't make the video. But when we're both like really good again, I'm just gonna just start it and just like maybe do like every other day and just like have like some like film to put out, even if it's like really short. I just want to put something out and do like a battle video between us, and like have like a money mark thing, kind of like how like Ryan Trahan had like every day with the penny thing, and kind of just like battle each other and see how much we make, and have different perspectives of like her going into thrift stores rather than me going to the bins, and like combining both of them, and maybe giving her, like, buying a GoPro for her and wearing, and she could wear it and stuff like that. Just trying to do something different, because I want to like I know I say I'm back. I'm not going to say it no more. I'm just acting upon it. I'm just going to make videos and just put out videos and just have fun with it, because I love it. I love editing. I love doing this stuff, and that's it. Going to be putting out videos.
You should work for Drew if you like editing so much. If you love it, you guys could team up.
I actually offered him if he wanted to edit my Rag House video, but after thinking about it, he said yes. And I was like, after thinking about it, I'm like, Joey's got too much on his plate. This is just too much for him to deal with. It's a lot of
course he said yes. He's Joey. He's never said no to anybody in his entire life.
Yeah, it's just
Haley and I flew into Columbia the other night, and our flight, it was like the day the hurricane hit South Carolina. So our flight was the only one that wasn't canceled that day. So when we flew in, we landed at like 10:15 at night, and there were no Ubers, no taxis, nothing. And it didn't even cross my mind that we wouldn't be able to get an Uber, at the airport. It's a fairly large airport, but there's just no flights that day. So we called like 2 or 3 people. People either weren't answering, or they're like, oh, it's Friday night. I had been drinking, whatever, can't come pick you up. So I finally called my friend Paul, and he drove 30 minutes to the airport to pick us up, 30 minutes to take us home, and then 30 minutes back to his house. So shout out Paul. He's not listening to this podcast, but I could have called Joey, my man. I'm at the airport. It's 10:30 at night. I'm going to be stuck here. Can you please come pick me up? I'm confident that he would have driven the 7 hours to come pick us up at the airport.
Nah, it would have been like 12 because he would have had to charge his Tesla about 6 times.
That's true.
Josh, I'm on my way.
Dude,
Bro,
stay right there.
I got you.
Stay right there. I'll get a sleeping bag like sent Amazon Prime. Like I got you.
Gosh.
Yeah, he definitely would have done it. And so would I. No, not really. I wouldn't have done it.
No, I wouldn't have done it for me.
Speaking of doing it, let's talk about reselling. So, sales have been pretty good for me. Even though like the week before the Rag House, I did a buyout, unintentional buyout, where some guy locally posted on Instagram who goes to the bins like every day. He had posted he's moving and he wants to sell out his death pile, basically his room of stuff. And
wait. Is this the guy that you scammed for like you paid him like $850 for like $7,000 worth of stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100% scam. 100% scam. I am a scum of the earth reseller. I use other people, take advantage of them. So anyway, he posted on his Instagram, and so I show up and I was like, all right, let me dig through this, find a couple of vintage pieces I can put on Whatnot. That's really what I was looking for. I was like, I want to have a Whatnot show. I need a couple more vintage pieces. Well, I get there and I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, this is pretty good stuff. And I'm kind of surprised by how much there is. And I was like, well, how much for everything? And so anyway, we went back and forth a little bit. We negotiated, and the amount of stuff I got, like I filled my car so much that there was like stuff on my lap while I was driving home because my trunk was full, my back seats were full, and all that kind of stuff. And I paid $800 for everything. I got 2 Rock Band 4 Guitar Hero guitars. I sold both of those for like $250. And I got a bunch of stuff. I sold some stuff on eBay, and so basically what I did was, because I knew I was going to the Rag House, I did a week long or a 5-day Whatnot stream, and I separated everything in the buyout by categories of stuff I thought I could sell on Whatnot. So I bought all this stuff on a Monday. On Tuesday, I did like an all t-shirt live that was like random vintage t-shirts that were in the lot. Then Wednesday was all music and concert stuff. Then Thursday was all sports stuff. Then Friday was something else. And then Saturday was like the higher end, like top tier banger show or whatever. And that was like included with some of my stuff. Anyway, I did all the shows, and I packed and shipped all by myself every single night after the stream. I was up till like 3:30 in the morning every day, and then I would go the next day, sleep in a little bit. Then I'd wake up and just start preparing for the next Whatnot live. And that was my whole week. I didn't list anything hardly on eBay because I needed to get this inventory out because I knew I was going to get a lot of stuff at the Rag House. So anyway, I ended up doing 5 shows, and I still have stuff left over to this day. But I ended up paying $800 for everything, and I did like $5,300 in sales on Whatnot that week. And so that was really cool, how fast I turned that over. I was going to make a YouTube video about it, but the amount of effort I was putting into the Whatnot streams and stuff, it just like I had no time to record or even think about it. And so I still have stuff. I did a couple of small reseller boxes for like $75 to $100.
Let me jump in here. For 1 second. So this would bring up an interesting topic. Like, did you know that all that stuff you were buying was going to sell for like probably $6,000 to $7,000 once it's all done? No. When you offered him $850 or $800?
No, I was thinking in my head, because there was a lot of pieces that I didn't even look at. I looked at like one stack of clothing and I was like, how much for everything? Because that's just usually how I roll when I do buyouts. When I did the shoes with Rally Roots, I took everything. When I do the buyouts from the other buyout, it's like, if you watch my YouTube videos, that's just the way. It's like, hey, come pick through what you want, make me an offer. And it's always like, I know I can get it cheaper if I take everything. I just got to put in the work. So yeah, I was thinking like 2,500, 3,000 max, like triple up. I even had conversations with my friend Matt. If you guys know Matt Easy, I had a conversation with him. I was like, this should be a triple up. Like I should be able to make $2,400, 8 times 3x my money. And the first show was like 1,600 or something like that, 1,200 to 1,600. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm doing 4 more of these. So if I do $1,000 each day, I'll make $5,000. So
see why I'm asking that is because if we did that, if I told our YouTube audience that we paid $800 for stuff and then sold it for 6 or 7,000, like that's pushing it. Like that would be like, I get it. It's YouTube. So you have to like, there's like your audience's perception of you. And like, it's like American Pickers, like if they weren't on TV, they would say, oh, it's worth 800. I'll give you 100, but they're on TV. So they have to say, I'll give you 650. They're not making a profit. It's a TV show. So as you're on YouTube and on the internet telling people about this, you might get some hate for that. You might get some people that are like, wow, you paid 800 and you sold it for 8,000 or whatever after everything's done. Maybe you should have paid that guy more or go give him more after the fact if you didn't know it. Not saying that's what you have to do.
yeah.
But if you're on the internet talking about it, you might get some hate for that because that's pushing it. Like if we did a flea market bin, bought everything from a flea market for $800 and sold it for 8,000, I'd have to go find that guy and pay him more money, or else the YouTube comments would just rip me apart.
Yeah, well, it brings up a lot of interesting topics, and Joey, you can chime in on this part too because you're such like a nice person that like I'd like to know what you would do too. But I mean, I honestly I have no problem giving him more money if that's really like what would what everybody thinks is the right thing to do. But he was happy to take the $800. He was literally moving.
I mean, if he got
day.
all that stuff at the bins, he probably paid 200 for it.
Yeah, I mean, he was moving that day. There was a U-Haul in his driveway. He had an entire room full of stuff, and he's like, bro, I just don't want to take it with me. And I actually asked him before I made an offer. I said, how much do you want for? So basically, there was a couple of different sections. There was the clothing in his office or in his room. Then there was trash bags of stuff in his garage that he still had the Goodwill bags tied. He didn't even know what was in them. They had been sitting in his garage for like 8 months. He had forgotten that he had stuff. So all the trash bags in his garage, he said, if you want all these for 100, I don't even know what's in them. Just give me $100 and take that. So we agreed on that. Then the Rock Band stuff, he knew I liked guitars. So he's like, hey, you can have these for $50 each. So I paid $50 each or for the guitars. So that was another 100. Then he had Funko Pops, and he was like, well, do you want all these Funko Pops for a couple bucks each? And I was like, well, I sent you a picture of them.
Was that the one you sent us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I still have the box. I haven't even opened the box yet.
Yeah. So before I even said yes to the Funko Pops, I messaged you to see if you want them and sold them to you. Or I actually told you, just make me an offer. And I think I paid $2 a pop and you offered me like $7. So I was like, sold. And so I bought those from him. And then I bought a couple of high-end pieces from him for like $20 each. And the dude was thrilled like that I was taking everything. And he was like, when I buy out people's death piles, honestly, the YouTube side of things, when people watch are like, oh, you underpaid. But when you realize psychologically how much you're helping somebody like that and how much stress you're taking off of them when they are overwhelmed with a death pile, it's crazy. Like they are so thankful. They would have sold it to me for less.
I mean, I agree. Like I've had stuff. Occasionally, we'll clean out our death pile, and I'll have stuff that I know is worth money. Like I had an Xbox 360 wireless guitar the other day, and I actually redonated it because it was sticky. I was like, it's $50. I don't have time to clean it. It had like the sticky thing on the strummer. I was like, I'll donate, let somebody else have it. So I've done that before. Like I've done buyouts before. I'm like, hey, come get 50 pairs of shoes for $300. Like that's probably less than we actually paid, but there is value in like clearing out that space. But at the same time, like I wish people on YouTube knew that. Like most people at garage sales, like anytime somebody's like, oh, you scammed that garage sale, like most people have garage sales just want it gone. Like they don't care what it's worth. They don't care what you're going to do with it. They just don't want it anymore.
I feel like a deal is a deal. When you guys make a deal, it's a deal. Like, like if people are going to be upset, let them be upset. You made the deal. You paid the money. You did the work. You sold it. That's their problem. That's the people in the comments problem. Like, go out there and go do it. I feel like anybody would be happy to get an opportunity that Drew got. I mean, think about it. He went on what now? He probably could have sold it on eBay for triple the price, or maybe not. What now probably had some good sales of different items. And I feel like I personally feel like if it's in his hands, he made the deal, he helped them, he moved it out. He did it all by himself. He made the money. That's how I feel. If the people want to hate me, hate me.
Well, let me say one thing about that too, because this is something that if I made a YouTube video about it, you wouldn't see this. But actually, the guy Alex, I don't know if he listens to this podcast, but if he is, Alex, I appreciate you. I don't know if you can
I appreciate you.
Zeke is going crazy in the other room, but Alex, he actually came into a couple of my streams because he's a reseller, but he came into a couple of my streams on Whatnot and saw me selling the stuff that I bought from him. And then yesterday he had his first Whatnot live. He actually signed up for Whatnot and had his first Whatnot live, and it motivated him to start selling on Whatnot. And he's messaging me asking questions, and he's like, "Thank you, I appreciate you." And I said, "Good luck, anything you need, please reach out." And before I did the buyout, and I couldn't put this in the video because I didn't record it if I made one, I told him, keep all this stuff and sell it on Whatnot. You will make a ton of money. And he's like, I just want it gone. I got to move. Maybe I'll look into Whatnot later, and sure enough, now he's a Whatnot seller. And his first stream, he made a couple $100, he said yesterday. And he was like so pumped, cool. And so now he's like changing his mind in some of his thoughts, where he's like, some of the stuff you go to the bins and you pick up and you're like, yeah, this is $10, this is $12. And then you don't list it because you're like, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah.
You put that on Whatnot and it sells for $10. It's just instant money, Yeah. So I'm really excited for him that he didn't use my referral code, but but he signed up for Whatnot. He got approved and now he's selling on there. So, it ended up working out for him in the end.
That's awesome.
But back to what I was saying in the beginning is that even though I hadn't been listing, sales have still been really good. So, and I've been listing a lot since I got back from the rag house. I've been trying to do like 30 a day on eBay, Depop, and Poshmark, and putting up these vintage pieces. And some of them are selling. They're selling. I mean, high end stuff. I sold a Tundra Coogee sweater for $100 yesterday. I have a Buffalo Bills sweater that I already have $100 offer on, but I listed for $150, so I'm holding off a little bit. But if I need to, I'll take the $100 offer.
I've got another selfless plug in today's video. Haley, we went to the bins and Haley found a plush, one plush. So you guys know we get a whole trash bag of plush for $1. She found one plush listed yesterday and it just sold to an international buyer for $59.99 plus shipping. The buyer was all in $110.
Wow. Talking about plush, I actually found at the bins, Reptar from Rugrats.
Yeah.
Like I found like a huge one, like I'm talking like half my body, and it was from like 1998 or 96 or something like that. I sold it for $150 and I bought it for like pennies.
That's the trick with plush. Like you have to look for stuff that is iconic. Like I've never looked up comps on Reptar, but I've never seen a Reptar plush either. So I know that if I've been thrifting for 4 years and I've never seen one, and Reptar is such a memorable character for 90s babies, guaranteed that plush is going to sell for hundreds of dollars. Guaranteed.
It was crazy. I look for plush every time I go to the bins. I have so many Squishmallows, like I washed already. Me and my mom washed them.
How does your bins charge you for plush?
So they do by the pound, but it's 33 cents a pound. It's really good. It's really good. Where I'm at, it's like perfect. And for clothes, it's $169 a pound. Over the 25, if you do 25 pounds or more, it's $169. So it's like 10 cents an ounce, basically.
Plus, you're just so. What I've seen at our bins is like Goodwills are starting to like increase prices on plush. Like I'll see them with Goodwill stickers for $4.99, $5.99, $9.99, and people don't pay that in the store. And then they put them at the bins and they charge $1 a bag, probably like an 80-gallon trash bag for $1. Yeah. I've seen a lady actually buy an entire pallet, a sealed pallet of plush for $5. I'm like, that's literally one plush that you're trying to sell for $5, and then it doesn't because you jack up the price, and then the whole pallet sells for $5. So I'm like, I talked about it in Goodwill. I was like, hey, Goodwill, I know you're watching. Stop doing this. You're losing money. Just sell your plush in the store for 50 cents, and you'll make way more money than overpricing them, and then they end up at the bins. It makes sense, right?
But your voice just sounded so crisp when you walked up to your microphone.
I'm gonna hold it.
It was like so soothing. Now you look like Walter Blake Knobloch when he does videos because he always holds his microphone. He's like,
Hey, Dollar Tree DVDs.
Card.
Just selling them on Amazon for $6.
Blake, if you're watching this, we love you.
We invite you. We formally invite you to come on the podcast.
I would love to have Blake on the podcast.
He's great.
So funny. Did you know
He's
that
probably
Blake?
my favorite reseller on
Did you
YouTube.
know that he was a comedian before he became a reseller? He was a stand-up comic.
Did you know that I was a comedian?
Did you know that I was a comedian when I was in like the 3rd grade?
Joey, what was one of your jokes?
I don't have jokes. I'm not a comedian. I'm terrible at jokes.
Actually,
I heard jokes here. I got one joke. I heard it this morning on like a reel. Actually, I don't even know. It's something about a cow.
I heard a good one the other day. It was this guy. He was talking about Hispanic people. He's like, how I know Hispanic people are the hardest workers in the world? The pyramids are in Egypt, and everybody's like, oh, they couldn't have built those. Had to be aliens. Had to be something else. There are also pyramids in Mexico. No one questions who built those. I'm like, that's so true. They're like, yeah, it's definitely built by Hispanic people, obviously. But in Egypt, no way they built those.
Yeah, have you ever seen Despicable Me?
Yeah.
That part in the movie where like Gru goes to steal the pyramid and then they have like the sheet over it and it's just like a big balloon.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like the kid throws his airplane or whatever.
That's my impression of Groot.
Also, speaking of Despicable Me,
Groot.
Random topic. Have you seen the kid on TikTok who dresses like Vector?
Yeah. With an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, he's literally changed his entire life by making a couple TikToks dressed like Vector, and now it's like his entire career. It's crazy.
It is,
dude. The internet, man. Gary Vee is talking about how companies are having such a hard time getting like Gen Zs to accept positions because like you can just be mildly successful on like TikTok doing brand deals or like YouTube or something, and you can make 6 figures a year. Like it's not that hard. So you got these companies offering like 50, 60,000 for college graduates, but they started an Instagram account in college and now the Instagram account's making 60 grand. So why would they give that up to go make the same amount of money for working for someone? Yeah. So it's tough. Like companies are having a hard time hiring people for less than 6 figures. Yeah, internet, man. The internet, money on the internet is wild.
Yeah. And all those trade jobs, man, those trades that like we take for granted every day, like plumbers and electricians and, carpenters and things like as much as I'm grateful for the people that have those jobs. I mean, you're talking about majority of them are, 30, 40 plus. And it's very hard to find people that are younger that want to take those trades because it's like hard manual labor. Yep. And the value of that for someone like me, like I would much rather pay a plumber to come fix an issue than me try to lay under my toilet and try to fix it. Yeah. So I'm thankful for that. But there's just so much opportunity these days for, like you said, on the internet, social media. I mean, this guy on YouTube, Biaheza, I'm sure you guys have heard of him now. He's got over 1 million subscribers, I think. But I used to watch him when he had like 50K subscribers, and he used to make like drop shipping videos with AliExpress and Shopify. And now he's done a little bit of everything, kind of like side hustles and stocks and Bitcoin.
Like his millionaire starting from zero series.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, he's an incredible editor. I love his content. Mm-hmm. And but I don't even remember where I was going with that. Oh, because he was Instagram theme pages. When he was 13 years old, he started making Instagram theme pages and just posting pictures of stuff. Like one of them was like Beauty of Earth was the on Instagram. And it was just pictures of amazing things on Earth. And he grew it to like 150,000 followers. And then he got it up to 1 million. And then he was getting like, like brand deals and people paying him like $500 for a story post, $1,000 for an actual post, for like some nature company to buy rainforest recycled water bottles or something.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how much money you can make. And I mean, I think he said by the time he was 16, he had made $1 million or something crazy like that. And it was all through social media.
Power of the internet.
And you have to think like with like plumbers and stuff like that. It's more of like I don't know if I'm saying this right, but like it's more like family based. Like whatever your parents do, you kind of do what your parents do almost, kind of, not all the time, but like my dad is basically a reseller, and I didn't know that. Like I knew my dad sold like food and stuff on a lunch truck and sold golf carts, but I didn't know like it was like
What
a
if a
reseller.
reseller is just what your dad says he is, but he's actually in the Italian mob?
He really is. No.
Yeah, I sell golf carts. Do you?
I have
Or are you in the? That seems like a nice cover for the mob.
I have a perfect shirt for that. Read this. Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yeah, I don't know, Joey. Your dad's just too nice. Your dad's
my
too
dad's
nice.
not. No, he's not. My dad is crazy. We're the complete different person. He is nice. He is a very nice person, but we are different. Like I'm overly nice. My dad's like, he's nice to an extent, but he gets, crazy. That's my dad.
Shout out Joey's dad.
Shout out dads.
If you're listening.
So Josh, now that you've been traveling across the world and America, and you're probably going to have a video about thrifting in Japan soon, when are we going to play disc golf? When are we going to play disc golf? Save some time for the little guys.
Dude, I would love to play disc golf. I would absolutely love to. I've been in our backyard cleaning up our course. We had I finally got my weed eater to work again, and we have a bunch of thorns and stuff back there. So I spent the last couple days just clearing out all that stuff, and it looks really nice now. I just wish I could make it all stop growing. I think I'm going to put salt on the ground. I've tried. I don't want to do Roundup because it just came out and said that it causes cancer or something, and I believe it. Everything these days causes cancer. But I've tried vinegar and salt mixture, and that didn't really work. So I'm thinking I have an extra bag of rock salt that we put in our water softener. And I think I'm just going to throw that on the ground and just see what happens. I feel like it would hurt some plants at least. It's just so frustrating. If you have a plant you want to grow, it's impossible. And if you have a plant you don't want to grow, it's impossible to stop it. I've got this vine by the warehouse, an ivy thing. And I swear I take it down every day. And every morning I come back and it's crawling back up.
I saw that you had a viewer send you one of those portable disc golf chains.
Yeah.
You, you put it in the warehouse and stuff. It would be so cool. Joey, you and I need to go up to the warehouse and we need to do disc golf trick shot videos in the warehouse or something. And just play around a disc golf on Josh's property or something.
I've got some holes. I think I have 9. We have 3 baskets and I can make 9 holes out of those.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Once I get through all this rag house stuff, I'm down to take a trip up there for a weekend or something.
You guys haven't even seen the house yet. You got to come check it out.
I want to come see it.
Phoenix Resale is the only one that's been here.
Renix P-Sale?
Renix P-Sale. Phoenix. What's up, Phoenixes?
How have you talked to him much since FlipCon? Do you guys stay in communication?
Yeah, he went to Vid Summit with me. We hung out there. We talk all the time.
Oh, cool.
I probably talked to him more than I talk to you guys, honestly. It's just tough. Once you get I really want to collaborate with other YouTubers, and once you hit the level that Caleb and I are at, a couple 100,000 subscribers, it's hard to find people that are in your same level that are willing to talk to you. Because at this point, most people have managers and agents and stuff. You can't just DM someone on Instagram that has 500,000 YouTube subscribers and expect them to respond. So we were trying to meet as many people as we could at Vid Summit. Do you guys know that guy is I think his YouTube and TikTok account are Humphrey Talks. It's the Asian guy that does finance videos.
I don't know.
Sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar, but I don't.
He's got a ton of followers. But I met him there. I was like, "Oh, you're the finance guy." And so he follows me on Instagram. He actually responded to my 70% retention post yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, what did you do?" And he said he was going to watch the video and stuff. And so it's cool to meet him. I met another girl from Australia. Her name's Invest with Queenie on Instagram. She's got 110,000 followers. I think that's the best part about going to these big events is just having the ability to finally get some FaceTime with these people. But what sucks about it is that you meet people at the event that you didn't know about. And then you get home and you start watching their videos and you're like, wow, I wish I would have talked to this person more, while I was there. There's one guy on his YouTube channel is Matt's Off-Road Recovery. And they do I think they're in Utah. And when people take Jeeps and stuff out into the desert and get stuck, they go and get them unstuck. And I thought that was a really niche category on YouTube, but they get, I don't know how many videos they post, probably 2 a week. And each one gets 800 to 1.2 million views. And they've only got 1.4 million subscribers. So that's really good view to subscriber ratio. And it's, I just want to talk to him. How, what do you do, man? How do you get that? So it's very motivating, very encouraging. And we learned a lot of different like retention techniques and stuff. YouTube's not that complicated. Like you just want people to click on your video and watch as long as possible. So like clicking on the video, good title and thumbnail. And then watching as long as possible is cutting out everything that isn't absolutely necessary, like making sure you give people what they came for. Like if your video is about recovering a Jeep that got stuck and the first 8 minutes of the video is you in your shop talking about something else that isn't that, people aren't going to watch that. They're going to skip, and that's going to hurt your retention. And YouTube wants to push out. If YouTube sees that your video is getting clicks and people are watching a long time, they're going to start pushing that video out more, which makes sense because the more people watch it, if it's a long video, especially, and people are watching it, there's a lot of ads in there, usually one every 5 minutes. And YouTube knows that. And YouTube wants to make money just like us. So like, oh, we'll keep pushing this video out since people are watching a lot of ads. So it all makes sense. It's just learning how to implement it appropriately.
So interesting. Very, very interesting to see. Like,
have you guys ever looked at your retention graphs on YouTube?
No. Let's look.
Like YouTube analytics, there's like an advanced mode too. So you can really see like so much about the video. Like you can see not only your average, like your retention rate. So like the average percent of the video that people view, you can see like dips and spikes. So you can see like where people are skipping. Like if you have a brand deal or something, generally there's always going to be a lower skip there. There was this one video we made recently where we were at a garage sale, and one of the people that was like at the garage sale is like this girl. She had like a tank top on, really low cut, cleavage and all that stuff. And there was such a huge spike at that point. Like people just kept rewinding and rewatching it.
That was from my last video.
56. Yeah. I mean, that's about what we are on average without like thinking about it. That's usually we're at like 55 to 60. But then like when we actually think about it and are consciously like implementing retention techniques, we can usually hit about 65 to 70.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty much as good as it gets. Like I've never seen anybody with over like, I think like 78% was like the highest retention I've ever seen. And as your video gets more views, naturally the retention is going to drop.
Yeah, one of my most recent videos has 54%, so it's not horrible. But yeah. I honestly don't put as much effort into YouTube as I do my reselling business, you know,
yeah.
Which is another topic that one day we can get into again if we ever decide to record another podcast after this. But but it's just, you know, like where do you, as a reseller and a content creator, like where do you find that line of, you know, like what's more valuable for your time? Like I got a family, I got 2 kids, you know, like I want to spend time with my children. You know, you and Haley don't have kids and both of you do reselling stuff. So I do all the reselling stuff by myself, you know, so there's obviously like some, you know, I don't know if it's creative differences. That's not the right thing, but like you have more time that you can invest into YouTube right now because you don't have kids. And so for me, like obviously my kids are my top priority, and then my family, and then my reselling business and providing for them, you know, and then after that, it's like anything extra that I can squeeze in, content creation, which is also like, okay, well, I love playing disc golf. I play disc golf with my friends probably once a week at this point. Do I stop playing disc golf to put more time into my YouTube content? I don't know, because I really enjoy playing disc golf. I don't really enjoy editing as much, but I love being a content creator. So, you know what?
I think you need to get to a point. So like right now we hired Kim, like our helper. So she really helps like keep the reselling side of things going. And so that helps a lot, but I kind of want to hire more people. One thing I noticed is that every single YouTuber that I know that is like big, like 1 million subscribers or more, none of them do it alone. They all have a team or employees or something. Like very rarely do you see somebody that does everything in a YouTube channel doing it alone. And I think that principle also applies to reselling. Like maybe tech and sports, like he says he's pretty big and he says he does it all himself. I don't really believe that. Like I've seen some of his listings and there's definitely like female fingers in there. So he's got people helping him to some degree.
He openly admits that he has employees now, but I think back in the day, like when it was him and Daily Refinement, there was a period where he said that he's a one-man show and that he could do 100 listings a day and ship 100 things a day. But he doesn't like claim that anymore.
Yeah. About time. I think Tim Osborne of Thrift is probably the only person I know of that does significant sales. totally by himself. And honestly, Tim, if you're listening to this, I think hiring somebody to help you, it's even just do something dumb like hiring, like shipping. Like it's hard to mess up shipping unless you ship the wrong thing. And any idiot can know how to ship stuff on eBay within 72 hours. So hiring somebody to help you ship or maybe even clean stuff. Cleaning is probably the easiest because you can't mess up cleaning unless you use the wrong chemicals or something like that. But I think Tim is a good example of somebody that could really prosper more by hiring help in some area. But like I was saying, if you want to grow on YouTube, you have to focus on it. You can't just make one what sold video a week and expect to grow on YouTube. I mean, you might get to 5 or 10,000 subs, but there are people with 1 million subs that just suck at YouTube, and they've been on YouTube for 10 years and they don't make, they make $100 a month on YouTube. So if you want to get it to where YouTube is a significant source of income, it's going to take some time. So you either need to get the reselling business to a point where you can hire help and keep those numbers coming in on reselling side so you can focus on YouTube, or save up a bunch of money and then back down on reselling a little bit and then focus more on YouTube. It's hard to do both full steam.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very difficult.
How do you feel about that, Joey? Because you say a lot that you want to be like a YouTuber, like that's what you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
But obviously, like you're focusing more on reselling. So, like, is it just because reselling's easier, or is it just because like you haven't really found exactly what you want to do on YouTube, and you just kind of you quit your job as a mailman, to do this full time, reselling in YouTube, because that was your dream. So,
I've always wanted to be like, I don't want to say like Ryan Trahan or like a Mr. Beast, but I want to do my own type of like whatever. Like I want to make whatever videos and just have it like, it's just so cool to see like different YouTubers like do different things. And like, I love the reselling stuff. Don't get me wrong. It got me to where I'm at, meeting you guys, meeting everybody, and super cool things. I would love to have like just a fun channel with the team and like people who just think, and like I just want to be like, I don't want to say a star. I just want people like to take away from their life and come watch me and just have a happy time and just enjoyful. Like that's what anybody wants, obviously, but that's what I want. Like I just feel like it's so cool, like someone looking up to you like and like as a role model or something like that. I just like, it's something that I've always wanted. Like I just love that, and I feel like I am doing it now, like just on the live and stuff. I feel like I'm just really comfortable right now, and like the money's coming in with reselling, and I'm just kind of doing my normal job as a reseller. But I that's my dream, man. I love it. Like I just don't implement it because here I'm making this money doing that now, but I'm not like doing what I actually want to do, and I really just need to reanalyze things and I don't know what to do is the problem. Like I want to do reselling stuff, but like I feel like it's just not getting anywhere. I want like something.
The reselling's not getting anywhere, or the YouTube?
No, the YouTube, like the reselling YouTube side, like
Yeah. So if you want to get to a point where you can just make whatever videos you want and have people watch, you have to build up an audience first.
Right.
So like what we did, I tried to make like random vlogs and that wasn't working. So I started making like educational content, like how to list something on eBay with Android, or how to which product light is best for product photography. That was the first video I made that like took off. It like we were getting like 400 views a video, and then I made that video and it got like 6,000 views. I was like, oh wow, and people enjoyed it, and we got some subscribers from that. But like that's how people found us in the beginning. Like the eBay tutorial videos was how we grew, and then it got to a point where people stopped watching us for eBay tutorials and just started watching us because they liked us, they liked our personality. So that's how we've kind of gotten to where we are today. And I don't think we're still at a point where we can make anything we want. I mean, there's definitely people out there that would probably watch it, but not to a degree where it would be like profitable,
Yeah. I think another good example of that is What the Hales.
I met them, by the way. He's really cool. He's much cooler in person than he is on YouTube. No offense, Jeremy. Like if you just watch him on YouTube, it can kind of seem like they're like really over the top and like fake, but in real life, he's a super cool guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, but it just started off with them buying storage units and selling them and uncovering the storage units. But then people really started following them for their personalities. Like Jeremy and George, like they just make a great a great couple, and they have good personalities. Jeremy plays the guitar and sings on the live streams that they were doing or whatever. And then they went from that to just like, now they're doing high roller coin pushers in the casino, and they're getting 1 million views a video just by dropping quarters. Their faces aren't even in it. Like the videos that people will watch on YouTube, like that are, oddly satisfying, or, just like you can watch somebody else spend money. Like I like to gamble, so I don't go a lot because I know that I don't really like have a ton of money to spend on gambling. So like I watch other YouTubers play like stake, betting, and they do like slot machine bonus buys. And like when I watch somebody else like win a bonus buy or lose on a bonus buy, it's like, okay, this is really like the ups and downs of gambling. And then it makes me not want to do it. It's like it takes that desire, I guess, away from me a little bit. Like I'm still like, I'd love to, play some slots and win big. But when you see somebody like do a $20,000 bonus buy on a slot, on YouTube, and then they lose or they only win $3,000 back, you're like, that guy literally just lost $17,000. I think I'm doing okay today, Or then you're watching and they do a $20,000 bonus buy and they win 150 grand. And you're like, let's go. Like, you're so happy for them, because they just lost 17K in the video before that. So it's like, but I'm not like, oh, I got to chase that $150,000 win. So, but it's fun to watch, and so, that's the thing. The thing that's good about, I think, Joey and Josh, both of you guys, is the names of your channels are just you guys. So it's not like, the flippin' reseller or something like that, or
shout out flippin' reseller.
Is there a
I'm sure you're
reseller
out there somewhere.
Yeah, I tried to come up with a name that nobody had, so I wasn't picking on anybody. But it's like, if you're just like the flea market picker or something like that, and that's what your YouTube channel is, you really can't go too far outside of that. So, but for Joey Bada Bing or for Harry Tornado, even Profit Monsters a little bit, like I can go outside and do like anything to make money. But I think with both of you guys, you really building your channel around you, and that's something that's a lot easier to do on a with a name like that, like Eric. It's not just like the challenge guy, or something like that, where he does challenge videos, but it's not just, there's other stuff too, like where
we talked about that at Vid Summit, like the importance of like having a good name on YouTube that's easy to remember, hard to misspell, and doesn't pigeonhole you into like a certain type of content. If your name is Drew the Hot Wheels review guy, like you're only going to be able to do Hot Wheels reviews. That's it. If that ever like doesn't work for you, it's going to be very difficult to like pivot to a different place. That's why a lot of YouTubers are just using their name. You guys remember that video I shared on Instagram? Like I bought 10,000 Mr. Beast bars and it got like, I don't know, like 4 million views, and it was a brand new channel.
Yeah.
I met that guy. His name was Dylan Nguyen. Maybe it's like the Asian Nguyen. So I don't.
Yeah. I've seen the video.
I was talking to him about that. I was like, oh, that video, it got 4 million views. Your first video ever on that YouTube channel. Like, did you share it on Twitter? How did you get those views? And he said it was all organic. And I was like, really? Like you just posted a video on your first video ever and it got 4 million views? He's like, not at first. And he showed me the YouTube graph. And for the first 6 days, that video had 200 views. And then on the 7th day, it got 40,000 views. And the next day it was up to 120,000 views. And the next day it was up to 380,000 views. And it got just a straight jump up all the way to 4.2 million views. His first YouTube video ever. And he's like, I specifically didn't promote it on any of my other social medias because I wanted to prove that like YouTube does promote content. And if it's good enough, it'll get views.
Well, if you make a video about Mr. Beast, of course,
yeah, it's like it's trend hacking. Like it was like, we also talked about the timing of uploads, and like how a lot of the best YouTubers will like try to anticipate like certain trends and make videos that they can release at the perfect time. So like that video, it was right after Mr. Beast like did the whole buy my chocolate bar, win a golden ticket or whatever. So like that was, people were searching for that. So he made a piece of like I talked about at FlipCon, like the attention was on Mr. Beast chocolate bars. That's where everybody was searching. So if you create a piece of content that jumps into that view, that attention line, it's very easy to get picked up. Whereas if you made that video now, it wouldn't get any views because they've already done the contest. You know, there's another video by Matthew Beam, which I haven't seen his videos until Vid Summit, but last year at Vid Summit, he was at like 100,000 subscribers, less than us. And this year at Vid Summit, he was at like 2.2 million subscribers. So he has a huge amount of growth. And one of his videos that went viral for him was I hired 100 Spider-Man or whatever. And it was just like the thumbnail was him surrounded by all these guys dressed as Spider-Man. And he released it like the day the movie went out, the new Spider-Man, No Way Home or whatever. And so like it was a trending on Twitter. It was trending on Google. He released it at the perfect time and that went viral for him. I haven't watched the video, but just like trying to find those trends and creating content. Obviously he knew when the movie was going to be released. So he made the video and then waited for it to be released to upload his video.
I think it's safe to say that Josh is really passionate about YouTube. If you're listening to this, I've tried to get Josh to talk about.
It's really
I've tried to get Josh to talk about eBay or reselling, and every time somehow it gets. The thing about eBay is with YouTube, and it goes back to.
Hey, I can talk about eBay. I'm actually I scripted a video that's on my screen right now. It's like the 3 factors of eBay success, and it's pretty simple. It's good items, good pictures, good prices. That's it. No matter what you sell, no matter what category you are. The 3 P's of and it's a good video. And I'm actually going to try to like hire an animator on Fiverr to like animate a lot of this because I think it's good information. But I think if it's just me talking the whole time, it'll be kind of boring. So I'm going to experiment with hiring an animator to like
what does that
animate certain portions of it.
What does that mean? Like
an animator to like create graphics, like animated graphics, like infographics or something like a visual representation of what I'm saying. So it's not just me saying it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, eBay is just not really fun to talk about because I think eBay is pretty easy. Like if someone's like, hey, I'll give you $10,000 if you can sell $10,000 worth of stuff on eBay in the next week, I could do it. We've got inventory. It'd be hard about a lot of listing, but I know how to list the stuff. I know how to title it. We can cross post it. We can promote. Like eBay's simple. It's hard, but it's simple. Same with like losing weight or something. So if somebody's like, hey, I'll give you $10,000 if you can lose 20 pounds in the next 30 days, I'll do it. I know how to do it. It's easy. It's simple. It's just, you have to put in the time and effort, you know?
So what was your opinions off the cuff, off of YouTube about eBay Open?
I liked it. I mean, obviously there was part of it. Well, first of all, I'll tell you guys this, eBay paid us a lot of money to come to this thing. And when we got there, they like didn't know who we were. They're like, did you register? I was like, no, we were paid to come make a video about this. And like people just thought, some people thought we were like lying or something. They were just like really questioning. It's like, okay, can you just wait off to the side? We'll get somebody to help you in a minute. So it was kind of funny that eBay, there's just like that lack of communication there. Like, hey, we're paying this guy a lot of money to come make a video. Make sure you let him in, you know, at the very least. But we got in. We had to make some calls, but we got in. And it was good. Like the actual event was nice. They had a lot of food. They were very kind, but part of it was kind of like the typical corporate mumbo jumbo. I will say, like when I talked to eBay people, like one-on-one outside of like the presentations, like they were much more like human, I guess. Like on the videos, it was just like, hi, I'm Josh with eBay. And today we're like, you could tell it's script. You can tell their eyes are like reading the teleprompter or whatever. But then like getting to talk to them in person was much more realistic. You know, we talked about Whatnot. I was like, what are you guys going to do? Obviously, you're losing a ton of business to Whatnot. And they're like, yeah, well, Whatnot's spending a lot of money. And I think they're going to have some problems like growing. And we're focusing on, you know, making our competitive product and taking our time and making sure like we don't grow too fast. And we're confident that we can have a better product in the next 5 years or whatever. I was like, okay, well, I wish you the best of luck. Drew, what does that look for?
Why can't eBay just get buyers to pay for their items?
That's what I said.
Everybody wouldn't go to Whatnot if buyers would just pay for their items. I literally have so many unpaid items right now.
I asked them. So I asked them that. I was like, that's the biggest issue. Like all this new stuff, you guys are like, oh, 24 pictures on a listing and you can do this and this. I'm like, that's cool. Why can't people just pay for stuff? Like that's literally all we want. We just want people to pay. And they're like, well, you can already do like require immediate payment on buy it now stuff. So like that's settled. And I don't know the exact parameters, but with offers, like there's something you can turn on, or maybe it's like a beta version or something where if people send offers, they do have to pay immediately now. I don't know 100% how that works, but I have seen that before. But the only issue that we have is with auctions. Like, we don't auction anything because people don't pay for auctions. They win and then they say, oh, I get paid next month in 6 weeks. Can you hold it? No, I can't do that. But then, but they literally said, like, what would you do? The guy in charge of like payments was like, what would you do? Like, when people auction, like, should we charge everybody's credit card for every bid they place? Like, put a reserve on their card for every bid? And I was like, no, can you just like make sure they have a card on file? And then when they win, can you discharge their card at that moment? And he's like, well, we can, but there's a lot of like processes that go along in the back. And so I'm like,
Whatnot does that every single day.
Yeah.
That's literally how it works with Whatnot. Your credit card is on file with Whatnot, and when you win the bid, it charges your card immediately.
He said something about like there may be like a shipping invoice or something that people need to change or whatever. I'm like, we can worry about a refund later. Auctions are tough. Like, we don't have too many unpaid items with offers. I mean, we do, but it's maybe like one or two a month. But auctions are tough. Like, I literally don't remember the last time we had an auction that was actually paid for. So I just don't auction stuff anymore.
My store must be cursed then, because right now I have.
Is it stuff people are buying now, or is it
26,
stuff people?
26 items waiting for payment on eBay.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
We're talking. We got to end the podcast probably soon because it's an hour and 10 minutes. But $23, $100, $60.
Trash to cash podcast. We go for 2.5 hours.
50, 70, 35, 175, 27, 54, 40, 60, 75, 40, 100, 40, 59, 125, 200, 105, 40, 170, 160, 70. Like, dude, these aren't $8 items.
Yeah.
These are higher ticket items that I accepted.
Is it stuff that people are buying now, or are you accepting offers?
No, it's accepting offers.
There should be some. I haven't looked at it from our side, but there should be some sort of setting that at least some people have where you can require immediate payment on offers.
I don't
I have it on. I click it every single time and they don't pay.
I don't know. You can ask eBay.
It's crazy, man. eBay, if you're listening to this, please help.
Please help. Make people pay.
I
don't have 26 unpaid items. That's crazy.
I love selling on Whatnot because I don't have to deal with unpaid items.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm happy to take lower sales on Whatnot than what I listed something for on eBay, just because of the what's the word? The knowing that there's no stress to it. I just put it in a bag and ship it because I know that it's paid for. And when somebody puts in a cancellation request on Whatnot, I reject it.
Yeah.
And I ship them the item because they won the auction.
I had a guy, when we did our Whatnot auction from the hotel room in Los Angeles, I had a guy immediately request cancellation and I rejected it. And then he requested again because he said like bid on accident and I rejected it. And then he requested again saying his credit card information and address were incorrect. And I rejected again. I'm like, you bought it, it's sold. Yeah, it's like Poshmark. Like, unless the item is not as described, we don't do returns. I had a lady that bought a hat or something like a month ago, and she sent me a message on Whatnot saying it doesn't fit and we'd like to return it. I'm like, sorry. I think she only paid like $6 for it. So I'm like, no,
I had a guy. I went live. So the Wednesday that I had done that buyout that I was talking about earlier for $800, I got a bunch of hats. And so I ended up doing a Whatnot live with my mom, and we went back and forth and sold hats. And it was like winner picks from my mom's hats or winner's picks from my hats. And we I co-hosted her. Mm-hmm. Someone bought a hat from my mom for $3. And then 2 weeks later, this is like a couple days ago, they messaged me and they're like, hey, Drew, the hat was supposed to be a large and it's probably a youth large because it doesn't fit my head. What can we do about this? I'm like, okay, well, looking at the sale, you paid $3 for the hat. After Whatnot fees, it was $2.60. I can guarantee you my mom paid more than $2.60 for this hat, or $1 or $2 for the hat. She's not really making any money off of this hat. And Whatnot does not have a refund policy where I can just accept a refund. And I'm like, listen, brother, if you see something on my next stream that you want, I'll give you a deal on it, but I can't refund a $2.60 hat, because it doesn't fit your head,
Your big head. No.
Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. It was $3. If it was a $300 hat, speaking of which, I want to ask you, Josh, about the Raiders hat. But if it was a $300 hat, like, okay, maybe I can work something out with you. Like, message me on Instagram. I'll give you an address. You can ship it back. Like, sure, a $300 item, if it was not as described on Whatnot, I'll still try to work something out with you. But a $3 hat, come on now. You got, like, the cheapest hat of the entire live.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cheap. The Raiders hat's nice. It's real. It's just kind of dirty. I need to like clean it and like reshape it a little bit. But I've had multiple people. I had somebody offer me $400 for it. If you guys don't know, I found a Raiders hat, like the script. I don't think it was Sports Specialties. It was Starter, like a vintage starter. Not script. It was like the block letters, like Raiders block letters. And I thought just the script hats were worth a lot. But after I posted that video, I had, I don't know, like 40 people message me on Instagram wanting to buy it. I had one guy offer me 400, which I think that was just like a way to get my attention, because on eBay they go for like 250, 300 or so. That's pretty good.
So why didn't you sell it to him for 400?
I didn't think he was serious. Because why would he buy my dirty one for 400 when he can go buy the same exact one clean on eBay for 250?
Support your friends.
No.
Just send him a Support Your Friends t-shirt with the hat.
Speaking of which, we still have Support Your Friends t-shirts and Support Your Friends hoodies. I've got my Profit Monsters t-shirt somewhere over here. Where is it? I don't know. It's around here somewhere. I bought it. I wish I bought the one with the little guy on the pocket, but I wish I would have bought the big one.
You can still buy it. Profit Monster shirts on my eBay store.
What are your margins on those?
$25 free shipping.
Shirts?
I think with the brand that I used, it was like all in. It was like with shipping, because I'm doing $25 free shipping. I think I'm making like $10 a shirt.
Nice. Merch is just tough, man. That's one thing I wanted to learn at Vid Summit, like, because we will do. I mean, it's like it's like normal margins. So like we just got a restock of hoodies and t-shirts, and I think it was like $3,400. And once we sell everything, we'll probably make like $4,400. So it's like 30% margins. So it's good, but like we're spoiled with buying stuff for $1 and selling it for $50, and now we're buying hoodies for $28 and selling them for $38 or $32. I think the 2X and 3X are like $32 or $34 a piece. And we're selling those for $40, $42. So it's good. It just takes a long time to like recoup our money.
Well, when you're doing the rainbow design on a hoodie and you're putting really good quality, cotton hoodie, if you just chose like a basic Gildan or Anvil hoodie and you just did
these are Gildan.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like the basic ones, like the cheapest bought, like the ones that you can find at the Dollar Tree in their clothing baskets.
Yeah.
You
wanted to do comfort colors, but comfort colors are just like the wholesale cost for comfort colors hoodies printed with our design. The regular price was like $39 something. And then like extra large and 2X were up to like 40, 48, and like 3X was like 52. I'm like, we couldn't even charge that much,
Hey, I just made a sale.
Did you take an offer?
No, it was a full price sale of a vintage Pittsburgh Steelers sweater for $60 plus shipping that I got at the Rag House.
There you go.
Nice.
So,
like I was saying earlier, Haley sold a plush today for over $100. So if you guys want to see what that plush is, be sure to watch today's video. Still waiting to get the approval from the brand deal. I did a brand deal in today's video for Rocket Money, and I made it. I tried my best to like weave it into the content. If you've seen like big YouTubers nowadays, they're not going to just stop the video and do a brand deal and start the video again. They're going to be like Mr. Beast. I gave my 100 million subscriber a private island or whatever. They did a brand deal for Shopify, and he was like on the boat. He's like, today's video is sponsored by Shopify. And then they went back to the video to like, these people are going to have to walk this plank, and then we're going to chop it, and then they might lose. Who's going to whatever. And then it was like probably a 30-second ad for Shopify, but it extended over the course of like 3 minutes in the video, because he knows, and any big YouTuber knows, that if you stop the video, it's like, let me take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Shopify. And you talk about Shopify for 45 seconds. Most people are going to skip right through that because they know that it's a Shopify ad. But when you weave it into the content, it makes it very difficult to skip. So like today's video, I was like, I talked about like paying off our house or something, like our old house. And they got into it, and it's like, so we need something to keep us financially accountable. So that's where the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, comes in. And then it went back to the bins shopping. Like I found something else at the bins. And then it went back to Rocket Money. I was like, Rocket Money, simply put, is a way to help you save more and spend less. Then it went back to the bin shopping. So it's like 30 seconds of ad over the course of like 3 minutes of video. I'm just waiting for them to approve that. I don't know why they wouldn't, because I'm like, if I just do a 30-second Rocket Money ad in the middle of a video, nobody's going to watch it. And I want brands to come back. I want to be like good. You know, I want the ad to be fun to watch for the viewer and profitable with a high conversion rate for the brand. You know,
could they take that clip and like promote it themselves if they wanted to?
I think they could.
Have they ever asked you that before?
The only time that's ever happened was with Lumi, that deodorant that I used to use. It's so weird. It works so well for like 2 months. And then one day I just stopped. Like I'd put Lumi on for like in the morning, and it would last like 48 hours. Like I would not smell at all. And now it, like one day I just used it, and like 4 hours later I started to stink again. So I don't know if my body like got used to it and like built up an immunity or something, but it worked really well for like 2 or 3 months.
That's how
my
idea
I did, and they used it to make a Facebook ad. So I got people on Facebook saying, "I just saw you in a deodorant commercial." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I wish they would have paid me for that."
Can't you like go to them and say like, "Hey, you know, could I get a little something out of this?" Or
not after the fact, usually, unless they remember that Rally Roots. The Rolo used like Rally Roots' YouTube video in an ad without asking him.
Yeah,
he got like a free printer or whatever to give away. But I'm like, dude, you could have like sued them. Like that's like using your face and your words without a contract, without written permission. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Could have got at least 5 free printers.
Shout out to Rolo, who sponsored Dalton and Carly to go to Posh Fest, and they didn't even get to go because of the hurricane.
And then they're like, even though we're not at Posh Fest, we're still dressed in all purple. Like you're just in your house. Nobody sees that you're dressed in all purple.
They should have been outside with the winds and the rain, like, and took that picture.
Shout out the sponsor of today's podcast, Dealing with Dalton Shoe Trees. Drew, you want to tell a story about how your shoe tree broke recently?
Yeah, I bent it too hard. It was 100% my fault. But
are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't shoddy quality from the Chinese manufacturers used by Dalton?
Absolutely not. I would never defile. I would never defile
made in China. I refuse to buy any product that isn't made in USA.
Best one's made in China. You won't find a better one.
This one guy I was watching, it was like a YouTube short or something. He had a sunglass company, and he was like, some people have complained that our sunglasses and supplies are made in China. So we're going to try to source everything in the United States. And he got like all these different quotes from American manufacturers. And just to make the box, like the box that like a color, like an orange box, that's kind of like an iPhone box, like kind of thick cardboard, just for the box, the American manufacturer price was $51 each.
Is that the guy? Is that the guy on TikTok who has like a really deep voice, long hair, and he's like
the glasses, kind of like shaggy hair?
Yeah, he's like, today I'm going to be buying Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
you know,
that guy,
and seeing if I can make money. You know, and then like he's like trying all those side hustles.
Yeah.
Okay, the side hustle TikTok guys are awesome, but have you seen the white kid who's like, he's like, he looks like he smokes weed or something, because he's like, everybody's saying that you can make money selling Logan Paul's Prime drinks more on eBay, so that's what we're gonna do. And then it's like a video of him going to Costco and buying like 100 Primes, and then he's like putting them on eBay, and he's like, let me know what I should try next. It's just like so basic.
That sounds great.
It's so
great
basic,
content.
but it's so funny because he's actually putting in the work for each of these things.
Yeah.
Everybody says you can make money renting a lawnmower from Home Depot and mowing lawns, knocking on doors. So that's what we're going to do, you know? And then have you seen the window guy where he's like, excuse me, miss, today we're in the area. And I think I said the video to you or Joey, but he's like, it's normally $349.
Oh yeah.
Comes down to $249.
That's called price anchoring.
Yeah.
You're about to tell somebody a price, you tell them like a really high price, so they have that in their mind, and you come in with the actual price, and then it instantly makes them like psychologically feel like they're getting a better deal. Even Apple does it. They're like, When we launched the new iPad, our competitors and market analysts told us to charge $999. But I am excited to tell you guys that today the iPad price is only $499. And everybody's like, yeah, we got to do it. That's half price, baby. But you just think it's that price because you just like, I could sell this, guys. I was going to sell this mouse for $300, but today only, I'm going to sell it to you guys for $100, which is actually $20 more than you can buy it on eBay. But it's 66% off what I was going to charge you.
There's actually some resellers on Whatnot doing that, scamming people, and I called one of them out recently because this person was doing blind bids, and I actually really enjoy blind bids, but it's like personal VIP shopping is what they call it.
Yeah.
So the winner, gets a personal VIP shopping experience live on Whatnot, and you say like what you want, what sizes, and this person pulled out the bid was like, I want to say it was like $82. And this person pulled out a 1997 Chicago Bulls t-shirt, and it was basic. It didn't have Michael Jordan on it. Didn't have Scottie Pippen on it. It just said NBA champions, 1997 Chicago Bulls, and it was a red shirt. And she was freaking out on the Whatnot. This is a $200 shirt. I'm blessing. This is a steal. And then she goes, I'm like, okay. So I look it up on eBay, and there's one listed for $50 plus shipping. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, even at $82, this girl is getting one over on her audience, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, I'm going to bless you right now. All you have to do is add on $70 and I'll give it to you for $165. So she put a $70 whatever in the buy it now section, or an $80 whatever it was. And she's like, this is a steal. Snag it before someone else does. And the person bought it and paid $165 for it, or $160 for it. And I messaged them on Whatnot after the stream. And I was like, yo, did I miss something about this shirt? I was being nice about it. I was like, did I miss something about this shirt? Was it autographed or something? He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, the shirt that you just purchased for $160, there's multiple of the same shirt with the same tag, not reprints, listed for $50 plus shipping. And he's like, he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because not everybody on Whatnot's a reseller. They're just people that want.
It happens all the time, dude. Like in Backyard Rips, that the sports cards, they did like the mystery box, where they had mystery slabs. So they had 100 sealed packs, and each pack had a slab in it. So slab is a graded card, and the floor was like $250. Average was like $450, and the ceiling was $20,000. So that's a huge ceiling. So everybody was bidding. The cheapest bid I saw was like $1,550. And people were opening cards, and they were all freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, man, you got a steal. And after I saw like 5 or 6 people win, and they said it was all a steal, I'm like, let me look this stuff up. So one guy got some card, and I looked it up on eBay, and it was selling for like $250, and he paid $1,800 for it. And they on the stream were going wild, and there was people in the chat. It's like, bro, that's a steal. I can't believe it. I'm like, it sounds like he just paid $1,600 too much. Yet you guys are telling him that he got a good deal.
Right.
So it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I think before you get involved in like the hype of a Whatnot auction and start spending $1,800 on mystery items, maybe know what you're talking about. Maybe know like what the value is of this stuff.
Yeah. It's always with mystery packs or blind bids, which is why I actually enjoy doing the blind bids, because I actually give people more value than what the stuff is worth. And because I'm not taking a loss because of what I paid for it at the rag house, with that kind of stuff. So like, for example, when I was in my hotel room, I did a blind bid the night before I was supposed to leave on Wednesday night when I left the rag house. And I did a blind bid, and the winner got bid $120. And there were 2 shirts in my live that he was interested in. One was a vintage Tasmanian Devil all over print shirt. He was like riding a motorcycle. It was sick. And then there was a NASCAR Kellogg's shirt all over print, front and back. It had the NASCAR on the front, Tony the Tiger on the back, like cornflakes and confetti, all over it. In the live, the guy offered me $130 for both shirts, and I said no thank you, because I knew they were worth more. That guy won the blind bid for $120, and guess what? I gave him both shirts for less than what he offered me, because like I want people to see the value in like, oh, this guy actually gives out good deals, not just.
You got to let people trust you. Like I bought in the podcast we recorded that we never posted. I bought. I'll say their name. What was a Unique Sneaks on Whatnot. They're like one of the biggest sneaker resellers, and I did a blind bid. I did 2 blind bids, one for like $220 and another one for like $320, I think. So I spent $540 all in, and like, to be honest, it was kind of my fault because I don't really know the value of sneakers. I just know what I like. And so they gave me options, and they're like, you can get this pair of Jordans and this like one of the options was a pair of Jordan 1s and a pair of Yeezys. I was like, okay, I'll take that. I paid $540. So I thought it was going to be worth $540, but then I got the package and I'm like, I looked up comps and like the white Jordans, they're like the all whites with the black check. I love them, but they're worth like $180, like on eBay. I could buy them for about $180. Then the Yeezys were actually like not a good pair of Yeezys at all. They were worth about $150 or so. So I'm like, okay, I just spent $540 and you gave me like best case scenario, like $350 worth of sneakers. And like, again, I did pick, what I wanted, but at the same time, they gave me an option that was almost $200 less in value than what I actually paid. Right. So like
in those situations, you should be giving more value because somebody's trusting you with more, with a lot of money. And those types of bids is when you bid on something like that, whether you're a reseller or not, the expectation is that you bid 100, you get something that's worth 120. Like, why would I bid 100 to get something that's only worth 80 or 70?
Worth $100.
It makes no sense. And so
it's the same thing when you sell like mystery boxes. Like when I've only sold a few mystery boxes, but every single one I've sold, I've lost a ton of money on them because I'm like, somebody might do a YouTube video on this. Like I opened a Harry Tornado mystery box or whatever. So I've got to make it good. And that's why I stopped doing it because I kept losing so much money. Like this one girl paid like $100 shipped for a box that weighed like 25 pounds. I paid like $30 to ship it. And it was probably $600 worth of stuff, just like stuff from my death pile that I wasn't interested in listing. So like she definitely got blessed. But like, that's probably what we won't do personal shopping either. Because I'll feel the need, like as Harry Tornado and whatnot, I'll feel the need to like go above and beyond, like actually lose money on this stuff. So but that's the way you have to do it. Like if you get on person, like it's just like you said, people are trusting you that you're going to take care of them.
That's the other thing about it is like, if you buy something and you under deliver, that person's never going to come back to you. But if you over deliver, like that guy who I gave those 2 shirts to for 120, he offered me 130 and I said, no, thank you. Cause I thought that wasn't a good offer for the 2 pieces. I was thinking that it's like a $220 deal, and then I gave it to him for 120. Cause I'm like, in my head, I didn't pay a lot for these because I got them at the rag house. I'm live. I want to bless somebody. I said I was going to bless somebody. So I want to be a man of my word. And I know that he's going to remember that and he's going to come back to me and he'll probably do another blind bid. You know what I mean? And spend more money with me versus if I only sent him one of those 2 shirts, like that Taz shirt was probably worth $100 by itself, $100 to $120 by itself. I could have put it on eBay easily, but I was in the hotel room. I was having fun. I was live. I said, whoever blind bids this up, I will bless you. I promise. I said, trust me. And I don't want to ruin my reputation for $120. So anyway, it was a lot of fun to do those, but you have to be able to, as a reseller to know like, okay, I have to give away $200 worth of shirts for $120 right now. Even though I paid $8 a pound and each shirt was probably less than that. I probably had $10 invested into both shirts. Like, let's call it £1.50 of t-shirts, right? I probably had $10 to $12 invested in those shirts. So I still 10x'd my money. And this guy got an insane deal, and then other people in the live see that and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to bid next time because Drew gives out good deals.
Yeah.
And I've got the inventory to provide good stuff where I'm still making money, but other people in the live are getting blessed or getting something that they want. And it's just like, it's a never-ending revolving circle that works because no, you may not get true eBay comp value when you do a blind bid or a whatever that is, personal VIP shopping. When I have the inventory to do it, like you see, if you're watching this, like I've got a whole rack of shirts right here behind me of all good quality vintage. And that's not even like 10% of the stuff I got from the rag house. It's not even 3% of the stuff I got from the rag house. So I've got enough inventory to be able to make money and still give out good deals to other people.
Okay. Joey, are you there?
I'm here.
was making sure you were alive. What's your opinion? Do you like mystery boxes?
It's tough because we're resellers. We want to get the stuff as cheap as possible. The only person who does it the best is Jam. I personally think Jam does amazing with what he does because he gets stuff for very, very cheap and sells it on there, for whatever price it goes for, and that is amazing. I personally would never buy a mystery or anything because I can just get that myself. If I want something, I can go get it. I don't need to the thrill of buying something because we think differently as resellers rather than someone that just they have extra money and they want to buy something and it's the hype and they're excited in the live. I personally would never ever would buy a mystery pack unless it's from Jam because Jam blesses and he does super great things, and that's why people come back to him, and that's why he has an awesome following. And I would always go back to him and always watch because he blesses every single person no matter what. He won't do bad, and that's what Drew's doing. And that guy will come back. I know one day Drew will be live on Whatnot and he'll come back and Drew will tell us on another podcast.
Yeah.
Jam's famous saying is, I don't get high on my own supply. So like he doesn't see the value in a wrap tee any different from a Looney Tunes shirt or something like that as far as like the hype goes. He doesn't care if it sells for $100 or if it sells for $1,000. He just enjoys, the fact that he has the opportunity to give people good deals.
Make people happy. Like a lot of people. It's not just me. It's not just Drew. Like a lot of people. And that's really cool.
All right. I will say I'll end the podcast. Well, we can round out the podcast, but we've actually brought a new person onto our Harry Tornado team. I think he would call that. He's not an employee. He's a contractor, but we hired someone to help with thumbnails. And he's done the last like four or five thumbnails for us, something like that. He's also done some video editing work for us in the past, but he was actually a viewer of the YouTube channel. And he we get a lot of people that are reaching out asking like, oh, hey, can I edit your videos? Or can I do thumbnails? Or can I do this? But they just like ask. And what made him different was that he actually edited a video. He took one of our videos and like re-edited it for us and like sent it to us. He was like, hey, if you ever need an editor, here's what I can do. And I think taking that extra step of like actually doing the work first and then sending the work is a much better way to get your foot in the door at places than just like asking if you can do work for them. That's what I did with when I first started on YouTube. I think it did Rally Roots first. I made them like a little channel intro, like a little animation, like Rally Roots, and then the thumbs, like the fists, whatever. I sent him on Instagram. I was like, hey, I made this for free. Enjoy it. Use it if you want. And he was like, oh, that's dope. And he used it 2 or 3 times, I think. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I did the same thing for Hospital Home Mom and Cincinnati Picker. I made them like end screens. And again, I didn't ask. I just did it. I was like, hey, here it is. Use it if you want. And both of them used it for a while. I think Cincinnati Picker still uses the outro music that I picked for him. Yeah, that one. So if you're trying to work with a creator or a company or something like that, that's a good tip. Just do the work and send them the work. Don't just ask if you can do the work. This our thumbnail guy. He's making, I don't want to say exactly how much we're paying him, but hundreds of dollars a month, just for like maybe like 5 thumbnails a month. Almost $100 per thumbnail is what we're paying him.
Wow.
Before we end this podcast, I just want to say, Dave, NC Picker, Trash to Cash podcast, I love you guys. I wasn't trying to make fun of you. Just in the beginning of the podcast.
He wasn't trying to make fun of you, but he did. This is obviously not the Trash to Cash podcast because we didn't have any poop jokes or was it hernia medication or hemorrhoid cream? I don't know, all that weird stuff that they talk about.
Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed. Love you so much. See ya.
I love you so much.
At the end. How do I stop this?
Peace money
over here. Peace money.